listening to the Uplevel Your Online Business Show, where wealth is empowering, purpose is crucial, and high vibes are non-negotiable. And now, here's your host, certified business coach and practical woo strategist, Sarah J. Loureiro.
Hey beauty, did you know that I just opened up some spots to work with me one-on-one? As an exclusive one-on-one business coaching client, you will get access to pretty much everything that I release this calendar year. So including my mastermind, including the amazing fully booked formula. If this is your year to finally up-level your business to the income and impact that really pushes you beyond your wildest dreams, we need to talk. You can book a free call with me to see if you're a good fit from the link bit.ly//let's talk success. That's uppercase L, uppercase T, uppercase S. Or you can head over to my website at sarahjloureiro.com/workwithsarah to find out more. All right, welcome back, lovelies. I am so excited to be back on the podcast with the solo episode today, and I love what I'm about to talk about with you. And I've been talking about this with my clients lately, and every time I talk about this model with them, they're like, "Oh my God, that is so helpful." In fact, I was actually talking to one of my business friends who's also a business coach, and she just told me a few weeks ago, she's like, "Ever since you told me about this business model," she was just like, "I've never been doing the third part." It's a 3-part model, and this is going to really, really help you if you're struggling to get to the next step within your business. Now, one of the most common reasons why we feel stuck in our businesses, if you feel like you're stuck right now for whatever reason, it's probably because your mind is holding you back from making a specific decision that you know will be really, really good for your business. So before we kind of get into the model, really just ask yourself, where am I still playing small? What do I know that I really, really want to do for my business right now? And why am I still giving myself excuses as to why I can't do that specific thing? Because usually when we are stuck in one of these 3 areas, it's because of the fact that there is something that we are not allowing ourselves to do. All right, and so let's get right to it. So this 3-part model, I like to call learn, implement, and reflect. And here's the thing, it's not enough to just know the model. Okay, learn, implement, reflect. Like, I'm going to turn off this podcast episode right now because there are so many different reasons why we stay stuck in each and every phase. And if you're feeling right now like, I don't really know what you're talking about at all, Sarah, this doesn't really make any sense to me, just keep on listening because this is going to be so helpful. This is actually for any single business out there. So this isn't just a bit on one-on-one service-based entrepreneurs who are usually the people who I help the most. This is literally like the best business model for everyone. So here's the thing. When you are first starting your business, or when you are going through a brand new up level where you are learning something new, you are in the learn phase. And so a lot of the learn phase is about how, right? Like, how do I do things? And so if you are stuck in learning, and if you feel like you don't know what to do, that's always the best time to gather as much information as you can. So maybe your information gathering is reading some blog posts, maybe it's watching some Instagram stories, maybe it's hiring your first business coach, maybe it is reviewing some programs or purchasing your very first programs on the how, right? So the how of, let's say, for example, launching, or the how of signing consistent clients online, or the how of how to even, like build your business foundation, how to niche, all of those hows. So when you're focusing on those hows, you are in that learning phase. And that is the first phase. and it doesn't matter what level you are at in business, you're always going to be learning at some specific point in time. Now, if you are stuck in the learning phase, it's usually either because, one, you're really limiting yourself from investing in your business and investing in the learning phase so that you can understand how and you can get to the second phase. Or two, because you're actually purchasing too much. So you're in information overload. You are downloading all the freebies. You are trying to implement, or you're trying to learn all of the free information that you possibly can, or you're just buying a ton of really small courses and you're there. And that's all that you're doing. You're just consuming information, consuming information, consuming information. The second pillar of this 3-part model, so the second part, is implementation. So learn, implement, reflect, right? And so once you are done learning from, let's say, a course or a program or a business coach or whatever it is that you end up learning from, then you want to go into the implementation phase. So let's say, for example, you purchase a program that's based on signing on clients or launching, how to launch, right? So your next obvious phase after learning how to launch is going to be to launch, right? To launch a specific product, to launch a specific program. But there are a lot of people who get stuck in the learning and they're not implementing. And usually when that happens, when you have a ton of small courses and you are not actually implementing, you're not being consistent, there's usually a mindset piece there that you want to make sure that you're resolving. So why is it that you're not implementing? What is holding you back from the implementation phase? And the beauty of business coaching and the beauty of coaching in general is that coaching actually brings you through all 3 phases. So if you feel like you are, you have a ton of knowledge, you've already purchased a whole bunch of programs, but for some reason you're not implementing, you likely need to have some mindset work or mindset coaching surrounding your limiting beliefs, your fears, or whatever is keeping you stuck and not implementing the things that you already have learned. I also love calling the first phase the knowledge phase because there are so many people, like this literally is knowledge that you're obtaining over and over and over again, and you just feel like you're consuming and consuming and consuming. But the thing is, in order for you to fully benefit from all of the knowledge that you're consuming, you need to be implementing it. And even when you're implementing, it is so important to really understand how everything is working in your implementation phase, right? Because you can purchase a program that's going to tell you the 6-step process to sign on consistent online clients, but then when you're implementing it, in theory it works, but in practice you're like, oh my goodness, I'm seeing so many different blocks here. You're going to want to make sure that you know how to navigate those blocks. Once again, this is why I freaking love coaching so much, because one-to-one coaching and group coaching is really going to help you to find out why there are blocks that are specific for your business and how to implement that knowledge in specific to your business. And it just makes your results become so much quicker. It just makes everything flow so much more. But if you can get from knowledge or learning to implementation, give yourself a pat on the back, give yourself a huge round of applause, because a lot of people stay stuck in knowledge. A lot of people stay stuck in learning. They don't actually implement. Usually when we don't implement, it's because we're fearing something. So if you are not implementing, figure out what it is that you're fearing. Try to see if you can get yourself some sort of support around that, because that's going to make a huge difference for you. All right. So if you have successfully gone through the learn and the implementation phase, which, by the way, a lot of people do not get this far. In fact, the vast majority of people don't even get into the learn phase. And there are a lot of people who stay stuck in the learn phase before they go into the implement phase. But if you're one of those people who's totally a doer and who wants to get things done and who really, really wants to take their business to the next level, chances are that you have already gone through both of those phases. And so many successful entrepreneurs do. So most successful entrepreneurs really know how to go through those two. However, not too many people end up really utilizing the reflection phase. And the reflection phase is so freaking important for your business because it essentially helps to tell you what's working and what's not working. So instead of doing all of the things, and let's say, for example, you're starting off with a brand new strategy and you're doing your strategy in Facebook groups and on Instagram and on LinkedIn and on Pinterest, what you want to do is utilize that strategy, let's say, for example, for 3 months. And then at the end of the 3 months, you want to be in a reflection phase for everything that it is that you've been working on. And through that reflection phase, you can see, okay, my Pinterest stats are doing much better than my Instagram stats, right? Like my Pinterest stats are getting me people onto my website. Those people are coming onto my email list. Or, like my Facebook group strategy is doing so well, like that's where I'm getting my clients. Whatever it is, you want to make sure that you are consistently reflecting, I would say at least every single quarter, if not more, on your business so that you can see what's working and not working. If you can justify, up leveling your Facebook ad spend, if you feel like you took a look at your finances and you can finally hire a new virtual assistant, if you feel like your Instagram strategy has been getting you way more results for way less time, then that's a huge, huge light bulb moment in that reflection phase. I've worked with clients before who have been doing so many things in their business and just being really, really, super excited about specific strategies, and then we go and revisit the strategies after, let's say, like a month or so of working on them, and then when they realize what's actually going on in their business, it hit like huge light bulb moments, and they're just like, all of this time I was focusing so much of my time on Instagram, but my clients haven't been coming to me from Instagram. In fact, Instagram has been getting me all of the no-shows or all of the other people, and why is that? And so it's a huge, huge game changer when you can really utilize this last phase. For example, I have a client who we were just working together on her launch. And when we reflected back from her launch on her ideal clients and on all of the clients that she's signed so far, because she's been doing such an amazing job. She's signed on like 7 or 8 one-to-one clients, like been creating 5-figure months ever since we started working together. And then one of her launches was, she wasn't so happy with it. It still did well, but it didn't do as well as everything else that she's worked on in her business. And so when we spent time in this reflection phase, because she learned how to launch, right? She implemented her launch, and she actually went through the entire launch. And then at the end of it, we could have just said, okay, this is something, this is a launch that I didn't enjoy, or, like I might not do this launch again or whatever. But the most important thing to do after you've hit those 2 first phases is to go into the 3rd phase and understand what's going on here. And so when we did that together, when we worked on this 3rd phase, this reflection phase, we found out that the vast majority of her clients were in specific niches, because she's a business coach as well. So they were in one niche. They were all in one niche. And when we looked at that, and when we looked at their intake forms and everything it was that they really wanted to create within their businesses, she had a huge light bulb moment. Because all of a sudden she was just like, oh my goodness, this entire time, this was my ideal client, but I had no idea because I was so focused on implementing, I was so focused on doing, I was so focused on the hustle But now that I know this, she literally just went back in and she tweaked her entire business. She did the 1% tweak that I always talk about and that I always recommend. Don't do an entire 180 in your reflection phase. When you feel like things aren't working the way that you want to, just do that 1% tweak. And from doing that 1% tweak, she's already seeing such incredible results. Now, this is also why it is so, so important to have data every single time that you are developing a new strategy in your business or implementing something new in your business, because you always want to make sure that you can measure your results at the end of, let's say, like your first or second quarter, or even within a month's time of doing something, right? So if you're doing a launch, for example, make sure that you have your Google Analytics set up. Make sure that you know how to review things on your Instagram account. Make sure that you have intake forms when people start working with you. Make sure that you have intake forms when people get on calls with you. All of these pieces of data are so important because, especially for us doers, we're so focused on all of the doing that we don't have time to reflect. We don't have time to be able to take a step back and look and see and find those patterns. And the reflection phase is really all about finding patterns within your business, finding out, my Facebook strategy that I just worked on with my coach is doing 1,000,000 times better than my Instagram strategy. So now I'm going to put more of my energy into my Facebook strategy than I am into my Instagram strategy because it's just working so much better. Or, hey, all of my clients for the past 3 months have come from Facebook ads. So if I'm getting, one client per 100 or 200 people who are coming in through my ads, that means that all I want to do is just increase my budget for my ads because it seems to be working. It seems to be giving me the right people. If you aren't giving yourself time to reflect, then you're kind of just keeping on spinning your wheels. You're continuously spinning your wheels, trying to kind of just like stick spaghetti at the wall, right? Trying to figure out what works. But when you can successfully carry yourself from learn, implement, and into reflect, then you have your entire business process. You have your entire launch process that you can work from. And once again, this is why it is so, so valuable to have a coach by your side while you're doing this, because a coach can literally get you through all of those 3 phases, right? A self-guided course can only get you through the learning phase. All of the freebies that you're downloading, once again, learning phase, right? So when you spend time in all 3 of those phases, and when you really, really work on each and every one of those phases, you're always going to be making bigger and bigger up levels based on the knowledge that you have from bringing a project within your business from start to finish. And that's really what this entire model is about, the learn, implement, reflect. It's about having projects with a start and an end date for your business to kind of figure out what's been working best and how you can do even better, right? Like how you can impact even more lives, how you can stay in even more alignment with yourself, because maybe you go through learn, implement, reflect, and in reflect you realize that a lot of the implementation of what you learned, you hated it, right? Like you hated messaging people on Facebook, or you hated some sort of sales tactic that someone showed you and you don't want to do it anymore. The reflect phase really gives you permission to just do things that light you up, do things that give you so much more energy in your business. And the more that you do that, the more that you focus on things that light you up and the things that give you so much more energy, the more that you're going to attract the same. So the more that you're going to attract the types of clients that light you up, the more that you're going to attract the types of opportunities that light you up in your business as well. So that's it. That is learn, implement, and reflect. I would love to hear from you to see where you feel like you are right now within this 3-part system. I know that even for me, being someone who's creating a multiple six-figure business this year, which is so freaking exciting, I still have to go through all three of these phases. And once I know that there's a gap and learn, that's my sign that I need to reinvest in my business, that I need to up level in a different aspect of my business that I haven't up leveled in before. Or maybe that's when I need to hire my next one-on-one business coach. Everyone goes through this entire system, and the important part is that you just acknowledge where your gaps are. So I would love to hear from you. I'd love to hear from you in terms of what you feel like your gaps are within this entire system and what you've been absolutely killing it at. So you can always find me on Instagram at Sarah J. Loureiro. So Sarah is without an H, J, and then Loureiro. Once again, I'd love to hear from you. Feel free to send me a DM. You can also find me in my Facebook group, Fearlessly Free and Wealthy Females. We are around 1,500 women in there so far. I can't believe it. It's amazing. Feel free to keep in touch. I hope that this episode helped you, and I also hope that it gave you a whole bunch of light bulb moments the same way that it has helped my clients so much. Thank you for listening in, and I'll see you next time. Hey, did you like or love this episode? If so, I would so appreciate it if you left a review and rated this episode on iTunes. It would literally mean so much to me. And if you have Instagram and are all up in your Instagram stories like I am, I would love it if you would share this episode with your beautiful followers so they can also get all of the high vibes, all of the free information that I'm giving you here. Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to the Uplevel Your Online Business Show. If you enjoy our show and would like the show notes and free goodies about how to grow your online coaching business, head over to sarahjloureiro.com for more information. We hope you'll tune in next time.